Welcome back to my channel. It's me, Dina the Explorer. We're going to be talking about, guess what? Big Brother. We're going to talk about last night's eviction, as well as we have some spoilers. We have spoiler alerts. So I'm going to ask you, if you don't want to hear spoilers, then please mute. Don't leave. Stay. Because if you stay, that boosts me up in the algorithm. But if you leave, you miss out on good things, and I miss out on being in the algorithm. Hit the like and subscribe button as the intro plays. All right, so last night's episode went off without a hitch. And so, there was a BB blockbuster with the three nominees. We got to see what I already showed you if you watched my video before, the spoilers with the confrontation between Rachel and Zay. They showed you a piece of it. They didn't show you everything. I showed you everything. So if you want to see everything, you go back and you watch the last video.
Thank you for your services.
But, you're only going to see pictures on top because, CBS will flag you if you show their whole video for copyright. You'll get a copyright strike. So I showed you enough that you can get the hint of the gist of the whole argument between Rachel and Zay. But anyhow, so we got to see that. But let's just get to the BB blockbuster. Let me just tell you, I barely watched it. I know that Kelly won. I watched the episode twice and I tuned out each time for the blockbuster. I tuned back in every time I saw Kelly hit the buzzer.
Jose with an H.
So Kelly won. And then they still haven't figured out how this blockbuster reveal should go down. It's just so awkward and weird. All three contestants come downstairs and Julie says, well, the winner of the blockbuster was Kelly. It seems like there should be a better transition on announcing who won the blockbuster. So Kelly won, and this was the time, and Julie didn't really announce, hey, it's time to strategize and, figure out what you're going to do. So the castmates just ended up, scrambling around, and Rachel looked really concerned, trying to go up to people, say, hey, how are you going? Where's your vote going to go? Are you going to vote out Amy? Or are you going to vote out Zay? So it looked like she went up to Will, and Will was like, look, I can't help you. She went up to a few people, and she looked a little defeated. So Amy and Zay gave pretty poor speeches, in my opinion. Neither one of them were very convincing as to why they should stay. Amy's lacked passion. Amy's lacked direction. She didn't have a beginning, a middle, and an end. She just kind of went all over the place. So, keep me here. Yeah, I love you guys. I won't go up against Zay, but what did Zay do? Zay basically said Amy is one of two votes for Rachel. And I really just don't understand that. Can someone please explain to me what that really means? Because if Rachel just has two votes, then why are you worried, Zay? But anyhow, and he was really coming for Rachel in his speech, but it wasn't a compelling speech. And so as the votes will have it, it was 9-5 Amy. And no longer Zay Day, arrivederci. He's out of here. And he didn't even dress up for the occasion. He was in a shorts. You're supposed to dress up on eviction night. So bye-bye, Zay, and your weird talking with your mouth. Bye. But I don't know that was the best strategy. I mean, although it made me happy because I guess one of my character flaws is I love to see people humbled. He was so arrogant. He just knew he was going to live another week to, go up against Rachel.
All right, hey, game on. Game on.
Bye, Zay. You're out of here. So what you came here for, we're about to go into spoilers. Guess what, everybody? We have a new HOH. I'm going to give you a hint.
Dynamite!
No, I'm not. It's Jimmy. It's Jimmy. the J, the I, the M, the Y, the J, the I, the M is Jimmy. Let's take it to New Orleans. The J, the I, the M, the I, the J, the I, the M, the I is Jimmy. Oh, do it, baby, stick it, baby, do it, baby, stick it, do it, baby, stick it, baby, do it.
You ate that.
Yes, Jimmy is the new HOH. And, part of me feels like Jimmy is going to be drunk with power. Jimmy just seems like that guy. He is ready to rule the house. He is ready to show out in the house because we remember his little speech he gave, about Keanu being a snake. So Jimmy is coming for Keanu. I happened to be up last night watching as everybody was in the HOH room. There was Morgan, there was Zach, and there was Mickey. Like, Mickey, why are you gonna wear that face? Why are you out here in these streets with that cream on your face? I mean, I'm all for good skincare, a good skincare routine, although I really don't have one. I've never had a good skincare routine, but thank God, I've been okay. But hopefully I can remain okay. Anyhow, this is not about me. Mickey, why are you walking around with that mask on your face looking like Diane Carroll in Eve's bio?
Dollar.
Why are you doing that? But anyhow, whatever. So Jimmy was in the HOH room in his robe. Zach was in there kind of quiet, putting on chapstick. And the funny thing that I remember from eviction night, Jack was crying when Zay left the house. Not only is Jimmy the HOH, we find out that other house guests, along with Zach, now have other powers. You remember Zach, he was part of that whole Criminal Minds thing where he was wearing not Jenny, the lovely, you're looking lovely, Auntie Julie. When Auntie Julie was kidnapped and, he found her and he won $10,000 that he can actually hold on to and take himself off the block or, get the power of veto if needed. Yeah, Zach has that one. And then we also found out that Kelly, who saved herself, and the BB Blockbuster also has a power. And she was actually probably going to be targeted by Jimmy this week. Is Jimmy the head of household? However, she revealed to Jimmy that she had a power where she could compete. And maybe not with somebody else, but she has a power where she'll be able to compete and save herself. So I guess that foils Jimmy's plans for the week.
Oh, dagnabbit.
Also, it turns out that Mickey actually has a power. Mickey, who had that face mask on her face last night.
Not wearing sunglasses.
Well, she was in the bathroom telling Morgan what her power is, and it's pretty powerful. She actually gets to overthrow the HOH, and change the nominations. But there's a twist. The then HOH gets to come in and ask questions to the house guests for 3 minutes. And if the HOH figures out who the person was who overthrew his or her noms, then Mickey's powers then null and void.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let's do this. Okay, listen.
So that's a pretty powerful power to have. That's so many P's. And I think that it could work to her advantage considering how none of the house guests figured out who the accomplice was. So this might be easy, or depending on who the person is who, is in question, the HOH at the time. And then there's Keanu, who runs off at the mouth just flippantly. He just says whatever comes to mind. He doesn't really consider, he's just not strategic. He's too straightforward for the show. But anyhow, Keanu has a power. Keanu basically gets to double his chances in a POV competition. And there's speculation what that actually means. People are thinking that his odds are going to be greater. Like, say for instance, they do a crapshoot throw that he'll like throw the ball and he'll get to go twice. But we'll see. It'll all unfold in the upcoming weeks. Anyhow, like and subscribe and drop into the comments and tell me, are you happy that Jimmy is the HOH this week? And do you think he's going to be drunk with power? All right, drop to those comments.